Hi everyone, it's Leanna of Mission Misfit Designs, and I know it has been quite a while since you guys have seen me on here. I think the last video I posted was right when the semester started. I might have posted during spring break, but I actually can't remember. So here we are. I'm back. I'm alive. I'm thriving now that the semester's over. But basically, I wanted to make a video today to show you guys everything that I sewed, all of the garments that I made during the 2024-2025 school year. So I'm going to go through everything I made during the 2024 fall semester first, and then the 2025 spring semester. And yeah, I made quite a bit. You can see a little bit of my garment rack right here. But yeah, I made a lot, so we're gonna get into it. All right, so the first garment that I made, I'm going to show you guys here, but I also have pictures of them and everything, so I'll also be putting those on the screen, is called the Low Life jacket. Now, this jacket, as you can see, is a black notched collar jacket. That was the assignment, was to create a jacket with a notched collar. We also had to include welt pockets, which you can see right there. And it also had to have the buttons. And so what I did for my jacket is I used 100% wool with a 100% cotton lining. And then around the edges of the jacket, you can see is zipper tape that is around the edge of the entire collar along with the sleeves. And then the back has this little detail of a bunch of eyelets and it laces up together. So I'll show you guys some better pictures, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about the story behind the jacket and everything. So the inspiration for this jacket was kind of just like corporate goth and like kind of bringing that into a little bit more of a punk like scene basically. And one quote that I was really inspired by this, that I am always inspired by, is "Be Yourself or Die Trying" by Youngblood, and also just his song Low Life, which is what I named the jacket after. And if you see me looking down, I have my laptop down here with all of my little like notes and everything on it. So I just, yeah. But yeah, so this jacket was created for anyone who wants to express who they are in a more formal work setting. My hopes with the jacket is that over time, as a wearer has the jacket and it gets worn, that they add patches, pins, and mend the jacket, and giving the jacket its own personality, making the jacket an extension of who they are. My kind of goal with this jacket is that if it was to be made and sold to real people, that it would essentially be like how battle jackets are in the punk scene, and it's something you wear every single day, and it's like a part of your skin at the point like you just wear it so much it feels like it's a part of you. That's kind of my goal for this jacket, is to create something that is a little bit more toned down. Like maybe you bought it when you had your first office job, and the longer you work, it gets a hole in it, you mend it, you cover it in patches, you put pins on it, and you put your personality into the jacket. So that was my first jacket that I made. That was for one of my classes. That was my midterm assignment. And then in the same class, we're going to move on to the final assignment for that class, in which we had to make a shawl collar jacket with pants, and it had to be a complete matching suit. So for this, I decided to do my piece inspired by Hades, and I will show you some close-up pieces of the jacket and pants in a second. I want to talk about it first because I'm so excited, and I have pictures and video of this garment on a model. So yeah, so I'm gonna probably play those videos while I'm talking, not while I'm walking. So my inspiration was Hades and all of the interpretations of him. As y'all know, I did ballet for 16 years, and my last dance teacher, she absolutely loved Hadestown, and I mean loved. And she tried every single way she could to do a dance to the music from it, themed around it with the ideas of just Hades and Hadestown. And we did 2 dances themed around Hades, Hadestown, and the underworld. We also did a piece about the Trojan War, in which I was a Trojan, and my high school mascot was also the Trojan. And whatever. I'm also a massive fan of Percy Jackson, and his interpretation of Hades is a little different from the other interpretations of Hades. And also in the world of Camp Half-Blood, I would also be a child of Hades in Greek mythology. In Norse mythology, I'm a child of Loki, which I definitely identify with a little bit more. But anyhow, Hades. Hades is not only the god of the underworld, he's also the god of riches and the god of the dead. Not only bad souls went to the underworld, all souls went to the underworld in Greek mythology. So my idea for the suit is I wanted to pull in ideas from my old dance costumes using the netting that she loved putting like over our heads and around our body. She loved wrapping us in this netting. And I wanted to sew it onto the suit so nobody could put it around my head again. I also wanted to add small bits of gold into the netting and small pieces of bronze to represent the Trojan helmets that we wore in the dance. And the gold would obviously represent like just riches in general. So I did do like a little textile sample before I made the entire garment, and I'll show you guys a little picture of that with my flat sketches. And I also did take pictures of this garment in a local cemetery, and I absolutely love the way those pictures came out. So I'm showing you guys those right now, which is what you're looking at. And I'm going to grab the suit to show you guys a little bit better the details on it because I love this suit. I'm so proud of it. All right, and the suit, when I originally presented it in class, I had not yet made the tie, but I did make the tie for the fashion show. So it is just a black tie, but sewn on top of it is extra pieces that I had of the black Halloween netting, just to kind of give it, a little bit more of a vibe. And then so we're going to start with the jacket. So is the jacket not on a person, and it is just this pinstripe, 100% wool fabric, and the blue is 100% cotton. But the main detail I want you guys to see is this sleeve, which has the little black netting on it, and the bronze buttons, and the gold running through it. And at the base of the jacket, and on the sleeves and on the hem of the jacket, and here you can see it a little better on the back, you can see the little, like these little guys that I painted here on the bottom, and those are supposed to represent the souls. Since all souls went to the underworld, I wanted to do kind of a cute and fun interpretation of them on here. And then you can see on the back of the jacket, you can just see a lot more of the gold and the bronze running through that netting, kind of like it got stuck in the underworld. For the fashion show that this was in at my school, I also did have to make a shirt for her to wear under it. Since for the pictures of me, I'm wearing a shirt I already owned, but I wanted to make a shirt for her. So I just made a little basic black tank top. It's not anything fancy. It's just a black tank top, but I made it. So I wanted to show you. And then we also have the pants, which I made to my measurements so that I could actually wear them to take pictures. And as you can see, they have pockets, and the pockets are the navy blue fabric that is on the collar of the jacket, just to kind of pull that down a little bit, even though you don't really see it all that much. It has a button and a fly zipper. And once again, at the hem of the pants, we have my little souls. So that is all of the projects that I made for that class. That was the final project. And yeah, we're going to move on to my knitwear class. All right, so we're moving on to my knitwear project. And for knitwear, I named my collection Not Your Normal Leo, which is the name that would have been the leotard line that I started trying to make in high school. And who knows, I still may do it, but that is the specific name of this little collection here. The concept for this is pretty much that while I loved ballet and I used the art as a way to express my feelings, the sport itself, it's about looking the same as everyone else. You spend hours training to have the same skills and technique as the dancers around you, and you don't want to stand out when you're on stage around a bunch of other dancers in a ballet. And as a dancer in class, I found every single way I could to express myself through my required dance wear to still express who I am, even in a place where everyone wants to be the same. I wanted this piece to be what I wish I had as warm-ups when I was in dance. Warm-ups in a leotard that are a little different than what's traditionally sold. Most ballet wear, it's pink or solid black or super light pastel colors. And finding cool dance wear that was black or white or gray it just felt impossible to me. And the main point was to make a collection of something I wish I had and something for the younger version of me that loved dance. And I'm going to pop up on the screen here my mood board of stuff that I kind of pulled offline. I have a lot of dance pictures that I found on Pinterest and a lot of ones that are like point shoes, but also fishnets and spikes, just to kind of show they're contrasting, like yin and yang of it almost, of just me and ballet and how I wanted to kind of bring a little bit more of me into ballet. We also have here my other mood board that I made, which is all pictures of me in dance. We have pictures from the solos that I did. We have pictures of me in rehearsal. We have pictures of me before performances. So that is what this next slide is. It's just the pictures of, it's just my other mood board of kind of my inspiration of just me and dance. All right, so for my colors, I did want to do like black and white and gray with a little bit of purple. And I'm going to show you all the individual pieces. I don't have a picture of this look, so I'm so sorry. You're just going to have to trust it on the hanger. But the first piece that I made is this distressed little cropped sweater in this variegated yarn from Hobbii. And it's a little stretched out. She's been hanging up for a while. But it's got this like distressed here on the front a little bit. It has a bunch of ladder stitches running throughout it. The back is completely solid, but the front is not. And then it has some like, it has like a slight bell sleeve at the end. It is a very loose knit, so it is still very like flowy and like you can still definitely feel the air through it, but it is enough to keep you warm while you're warming up for a ballet class. And for me, I didn't like wrap sweaters for dance. They drove me crazy because I could never get them to stay tied. So that is why I did this. It was originally going to be a bolero, but I overestimated my pattern making skills in knitting because this was the first time I ever used a knitting machine. For the next piece of my collection, it was originally supposed to be a knitted skirt. I knitted it and I hated it. So we went with this instead. I made this cute little 2-layer mesh skirt that is just, I actually used a pattern that I used for a bunch of ballet skirts that I made when I was dancing. They were just black though, just because I mainly only wore black during dance. I actually had not thought of this. But yeah, it's a black layer on top with a slightly longer purple layer. So when you dance, you kind of have the 2 layers kind of like flying out in the, like, being fluffy. And when you twirl, that. You know what I mean. But yeah, so that is the skirt. And it is, that's the skirt. There's nothing else about it. That's the skirt. And the next piece was the piece that I definitely had the most, like, with my teacher about, because we were both very, like, she thought that they should be tighter. I did not want the leg warmers to be tighter because I had a knee injury when I was in dance, and I had to wear leg warmers, and I literally could not find leg warmers that actually went up to my mid-thigh. Most of them would go just above my knee and were very tight, and you can probably see it in the pictures I had of me in dance because I know I had some in my old leg warmers. So I made these leg warmers for myself for this project that it's stuck on a hanger. That also do have, no, they don't have ladder stitches. I don't know why I thought they did. There are a little couple spots here where they've gotten snagged on stuff. But they are just leg warmers. They are not stirrup. I hate stirrup leg warmers, so I refused to make them. They have mock ribbing here at the top with an elastic band in it to help keep them around your thigh. These actually go all the way down to my ankle and all the way up around my thigh, almost like shorts. Like they go like all the way up, like almost touching like the bottom of the leotard, which I absolutely was so happy about that I was able to make them that tall till they actually fit me, and they are just like a normal like stockinette stitch. They are not ribbing. I didn't want them to be ribbing. I don't like thick leg warmers. I didn't want them to be super thick, and I also did not want them to be super tight. I wanted them to be a little baggier, a little looser. I know my dance teacher probably would have a nightmare about this, but this is something I just wish I could have bought, and it is like the dark gray to light gray ombre. And finally, the last piece that I am still so proud of is the leotard. Now, I have tried making leotards in the past, and they never came out like this one. And while she's not perfect, it's so much better. You can see in the front here, it is a layer of black mesh on top a layer of purple mesh. And then we have the cute little V here. And then in the back, it is a higher back, because I didn't like low backs. It's just something about me. I just didn't like a low back leotard. And I didn't like a low neck leotard. So the neck is really high. I do have the little cutout here because I didn't mind that. And then I have the higher neck here on the back with, again, the black and purple mesh double layered, just like the skirt. And the whole leotard itself, it's not a super like high cut leotard up on your hips. I basically made this exactly the perfect cut of leotard that I would have wanted. And the entire inside of the leotard, the entire front is fully lined, so you can see that purple mesh a little bit better. So the front is completely fully lined and completely all the seams are encased. And then the back, you do see that seam, and the side seams are also visible on here, but the entire front is fully lined. And I did that just to make doing the mesh inserts a little bit easier, because I was looking at some of my favorite leotards and that's how they had done it, and I kind of picked apart a couple and figured it out by looking at other ones. I am just so proud. I have to toot my own horn on the application of my elastic around the armholes and the neckline and even the leg holes. Like, I am so proud of how this turned out. I spent so long trying to learn how to do this when I first graduated high school, and then my professor showed me within a class period. But like, I'm going to show you all of it. I am so proud of how those seams turned out. So that is all of the projects that I sewed for the 2024 fall semester. And we're going to jump into the spring semester now. All right, so this next piece that I did was actually super special, and it wasn't for school, but it was kind of through school, so I'm going to show it in this video anyways, because I'm so happy that I got to participate in this, and I'm so proud of myself for even going. I have a ton of pictures of my model in this look, so I will be bombarding this part with videos and pictures of the look, so I'm sorry in advance that you're going to see them on top of me talking. But this next piece is a piece that I made for Philadelphia Fashion Week's Next Up competition. It was a competition where they picked 2 students from all of the surrounding schools with fashion design programs. And basically we got a giant trash bag full of clothes from Goodwill in like a color palette. And we're told, make something. We could make anything we wanted, clothing, like any look we wanted. And the only restriction was that you could only use what was in the bag. So every single thing on these looks was made using stuff out of the bag. So I'm going to first start off by showing you guys the skirt. So the skirt that I made here, and my model was just incredible. I have to like brag about her, because she made this look so much better, and I can never thank her enough for making this look so good. But basically, the whole concept of this was yin and yang, so I wanted it to be kind of like opposites attracting and pulling and pushing against each other. Yeah, so I used a pair of denim jeans that I cut and turned into a skirt. And then I used that little denim skirt, and I used a bunch of fabric that was in my bag to sew I sewed everything on here by hand. So a lot of this that's on top that you see here was scraps that we had gotten from some of the Philly Fashion Week designers. But a lot of this fabric you see down here was beach cover-ups and even like velvet pants and stuff that was in my trash bag. And yeah, so that is the skirt. Really, I have this cute little belt on here. You can see some detail here with one of the beach cover-ups, and then also some of the designer scraps, some more just random fabrics from random dresses, skirts. I cut up a lot of stuff to make this. That is the skirt. And then the bodice looks a little, she's seen better days, clearly. The bodice I made out of a pair of jeans. So the bodice itself was made out of a pair of denim, and I cut it up. I made the pattern. Made the pattern, tested it out on muslin, fit it to my mannequin, made my mannequin, my model's measurements, fit it to that, did flat felled seams. I then added the waistband of the jeans on the top, and the entire bodice is fully lined with t-shirts. The back of the bodice, it laces up, and all of the eyelets I hand embroidered with yarn. I took a sweater that was in the bag and I unraveled it for the yarn, and I used that yarn to sew around my eyelets. The straps for the bodice and the tie, which is what's here, which is what the string is just a t-shirt. I just cut it up and made it in a t-shirt yarn, and I used that to add straps and this to the bodice. The bodice didn't technically need straps, but because I couldn't use boning, I wanted to add straps just in case, because I didn't want anything falling down or anything. And then the final piece of the look was this little black bolero. And it looks, yeah, but it's just a little, it's a button-down shirt that I think was originally from Shein that I took, and hold on, let me do the button. goodness, I can't get the button. Please remember to cut this out later. Okay, so it is just this little black bolero. I apparently love a bolero, but I just took the shirt, I cut it up as close as I could to the armholes and the neck. I hemmed everything, and then down at the end of the sleeves, I added little godets of this black velvet because the shirt is, it's kind of hard to tell, but it is a black corduroy. So I wanted to add a little bit more texture in there. So both sleeves have the little velvet godets. They don't add a lot, but they add just enough to just give it another little detail. But that is the entire look. I had so much fun in this competition, and no, I did not win, and no, I do not care. I wasn't doing it to win. I was doing it just to kind of get the experience and get the exposure, and I'm still so happy I got to participate, and I still feel so lucky. So that was technically the very, very beginning of the 25 spring semester that I did in February. Like, it was like the second or third week of classes. I was missing classes to do that and help with Philly Fashion Week. And then now we're going to move on to my actual looks for school for the 25 spring semester. So this next piece was one I made specifically for the fashion show that we do at my school every year at the end of the spring semester. So this next piece is very near and dear to my heart. I made this in memory of my old next door neighbor. A little bit of background about her. Her name was Miss Kitty. And well, she lived across the street, but whatever. But her name was Miss Kitty. And when I tell you she was the spunkiest, craziest 94-year-old woman you've ever met, I mean it. She was crazy and we all loved her so much. And she sadly passed away about a year ago now, but before she passed away, she gave me one of her old necklaces, and I still have it, and I had the model actually wear it down the runway. And the necklace that she gave me is what inspired this dress. So first, this dress is very tiny because the model that wore it was very tiny. But as you can see, it is just a basic like black dress. It's got a little boning on the top here, and then just a little flare skirt that has a couple layers of tulle underneath of it. But all of the appliques are crocheted by me. So you can see the lace applique here at the top of the bodice, the lace here on the waistband, the flower, all of this lace, and the lace for the hem I hand crocheted. And the reason that I did it like this is because the necklace that she gave me had a single rose with three leaves coming off of it. So I wanted the dress to have the singular rose with the leaves coming off of it. And it was a black necklace with gold detail. And I was having a very hard time finding gold yarn. So I kind of did the best I could, kind of mixing these two yellows. And in the hem, which you can only really tell up close, but in the lace that's on the hem, I also used a gold embroidery floss. And I crocheted it. I double-stranded it when I was crocheting. But that is the Miss Kitty dress. I am so proud of this dress. And it looked absolutely gorgeous when she was walking down the runway. When I saw her, I started crying because I was so proud. I was so happy to see it walking. And this dress is in memory of someone that meant a lot to me. We always joked and called her like my bonus grandmother, or my adopted grandmother. So it really was special getting to make this and share it with everyone at the fashion show and all of you guys here, and just getting to kind of share something that I know she would have been super, super proud of. In class, we were tasked to go to the exhibition that was at FIT this year, a Cabinet of Curiosities, and then get inspiration from that exhibition. So my inspiration from that exhibition honestly just led me straight into something that I already love, Ever After High. And I decided to create a dress based off of Raven Queen. I ended up naming the collection the Royal or Rebel collection, but I also call this dress the Royal or Rebel dress. It's also the Raven dress. It kind of has two names. But yeah, so my final idea for my dress was Raven, a combination of punk, wonder, curiosities, and the idea of breaking against the box society puts you in. If you've ever seen Ever After High, you know everything about Raven Queen, but if you don't, essentially, Ever After High is the story of the sons and daughters of fairy tale characters, and they're tasked to follow the destinies of their parents. They are forced basically into following exactly in their parents' footsteps. And Raven is the daughter of the evil queen, and she doesn't want to be the next evil queen. She doesn't want to poison Snow White. So her entire story is really her breaking against that and creating royals versus rebels. The royals are the ones that want to follow their destinies, and the rebels are the ones that don't. And it's really, to me, especially as a little kid, I really connected to it just overall. And I love Raven Queen. I've always loved the way she dressed and everything. So I created this dress completely based around that. So as you can see here, this is a strapless dress as well. This is the first strapless dress I've ever made. And the bodice is fully boned. The bodice, the rib cage that is on the bodice, I hand painted onto onto bridal satin, which was a little crazy, but it looks so cool. And there is there's a single layer of tulle over top of the painting. I kind of wanted it, it's not even that obvious even in person. I just wanted it to give it a little bit of a hazy look. And then, as you can see here around the waist, I have this little belt here that is just the purple satin that is the skirt, and then two layers, I think, of the black tulle. And I have safety pins holding this little belt on, and safety pins also holding this little chain on the side. And then, as you can see for the skirt, and you'll see it much better in the videos, is all entirely covered in safety pins. I essentially wanted it to be like punk sequins, is what one of my classmates said. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to be a punk version of rhinestones or sequins. So as you can tell with the skirt, it is super wrinkled because it's been in a bag. But it is just this purple satin with this black chiffon on top. And when it's being worn, you can see the the purple stick out a little bit from under the black. But it is just covered in safety pins. And the back of the dress is just solid black. I do have an invisible zipper in here. And then the waistband ties here. And then this little chain is actually from a purse. And I bought it at Salvation Army, the little chain. And this piece just connects over here. And then you have a little dangle of chain here in the back. But yeah, that is the Royal or Rebel dress. I am so happy with this dress. I had never made a strapless dress. I had attempted before, but I never tried boning a dress before. I'd boned like bodices, but never a dress just a dress. So I was so happy, and it fit my model so well, even though I did have conflicts with the fitting, and my best friend actually had to fit her, and I still wasn't positive it was going to fit. And this fit her like a glove. So I was so happy. And yeah, I've probably said I'm so happy 100 times in this video. But yeah, I'm going to move on and tell you guys about my last piece of the semester. All right, and for my last piece of the semester, for the spring 2025 semester, I decided to call it Aphrodite. I wanted to do a piece that was completely different than pretty much everything I've ever done, because as you can tell, just looking at everything I just showed you guys, I definitely have a style and I definitely have a comfort zone. And even though I do break out of it a little bit in certain areas, I wanted to just burn it basically with this. So for this project, we were tasked with taking a dress form and a random piece of fabric. She wanted us to mainly, preferably, use scrap fabric that we had. So I actually used a piece of a bed sheet. It was about 3 yards, 2.5. It was I think like a queen bed sheet. So however long a queen bed sheet is by a yard wide. That I had left over from another project. And that's what I used to create my dress. And I wanted to do something completely different. So I used a baby blue, which I don't do. And basically we were tasked with taking that fabric, draping 10 different designs on the mannequin, and then picking one of those designs and going from there and creating a garment from that design. The goal of this was to create a zero waste look. My look did have some waste. I had some pieces that I did have to cut off. I did and take them, and then I tied them, and I braided them into bracelets and a belt for the dress. I didn't want the dress to have any waist, so I did use the waist. I made bracelets and a belt, and I made the straps by doing that with the scrap fabric. And then the little bit of scraps that I had left over, I am going to put in my plushies as stuffing. So technically, none of it would get wasted. It will all get used in some way, whether it's being put into a plushie or it's the bracelets or the belt. So I'm going to show a bunch of pictures here, but I did decide to put rhinestones on the dress. I just wanted it to have a completely different feel than what I normally do. And I do love Greek mythology, so I named it Aphrodite just because it felt fitting. It just felt, I don't know, it felt right. And everything I was draping looked Greek inspired somehow. And yeah, but that is my final project of 2025. The spring semester, I don't have it with me, so I just couldn't show you guys. But yeah, that was my final project of 2025 spring semester, which is so crazy that it's already done. And I feel like I made so much more than I actually did. Like looking at this, like I didn't realize that only 3 garments were from this semester. Um, because it felt like I did so much more. But I know I also had some other projects that I did that were all like digital and everything, or like art projects and stuff with like fashion figures and everything. But if you guys want to see that, I will be more than happy to go through a video with those. But there's probably only like 3 projects in there. But yeah, I'm really proud of everything I've made in the past 2 semesters. I'm really glad and just proud to see how far I've gone, like how much I've grown even from my first semester here to now. Like just within this year, it's crazy to just see my growth as a designer, and even my growth in my sewing skills has gotten, it's insane how much better I've gotten being here. And just I have some of the best professors in the world. I have some of the best friends in the world at my school. I definitely have the best support system of my best friends, my boyfriend, and my family. I legitimately couldn't do it without them. Um, but yeah, I'm really proud to be able to show all of this to you guys. I'm so proud of everything I've done this semester. I just like, it feels like a dream still that I'm even going to school for fashion design. So making all of these garments and looking at them and just being like, well, wow, that looks like I bought it, but I actually made it. And seeing everything walk down the runway was just so surreal. Um, but yeah, now that my semester's over, I hopefully will be a little bit less busy. Fingers crossed. I still will be working and everything, but I won't be going to school and then going to work. I'll just be at work all summer. So hopefully, I want to try to get some videos out for you guys. I'm gonna aim for like every other week, probably. Um, just because every week is I I'm being reasonable with myself here, okay? But we'll see what happens. If I get more, I get if you guys get more, you get more. If you get less, you get less. I'm sorry, I'm doing my best. Um, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely am going to try to do a video like this at the end of the fall semester and then at the end of next spring, because next fall is my senior collection and I'm super nervous for it, but I think it's going to go great. I think it's going to be awesome and I'm super excited to be able to make that and share that with the world. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for watching and supporting everything that I've been doing here. And yeah, I hope to be making some more videos for you guys really soon. But make sure to like and comment on this video and subscribe if you want to see more videos of me babbling about random fashion things or me making crocheted projects and anything like that. If you just want to follow my life, please make sure to subscribe to this channel. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!